Hey folks, welcome to this episode of On the Board. Reflecting back on the book itself again, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, that 1978 wonder. And there we have my rendition, or my rough portrait of Big John Buscema himself. And in this one, this is a short one. I'm just basically touching base on this this whole endeavor here. The idea that I got a little while ago was to take some of those penciled works, here and there from the book, especially the figure stuff, right? And get some copies and apply my ink hand to them. Oh, here's one. Actually, you can see right up here. Like this stuff that I'm gonna show here is most of it's just in progress. I think there's one that's finished here. I've done a couple that were finished. You'll remember in the I think it was either this. I'd have to think about that. Which videos were they where I showed them? Either the 2024 recap, looking over the works of that year. I think I showed Submariner and Captain America as inked. I think there was an inked pic of the Red Skull firing a pistol too. Anyway, one of those back videos. But yeah, continuing along, putting in those original inks over the top of the master, like no brainer. It's been great fun to do. It's like that endeavor is mainly fun. But here we have a picture of from that book, and it has to do with comic book panels. And I took this one. It's Captain Britain running the old version of Captain Britain, the Bronze Era version of him, all red, that kind of thing. Once the colors are in, original inks there though, and I blew them up a bit too. They're soaking through the paper. But continuing to take various pictures from that book, and getting some inking experience, which we all know is obsolete. Yeah, well, blow me. Anyway, not buying that. Having great fun inking over Big John. Also over here, we have a penciled graphite picture of the Thing, which I thought would be fun to ink over too. So I made a photocopy, right? I made several actually, and then took I think it was a 0.1 fine liner, and just overall inked every line, leaving out the black at the time. Then I call, and I had a tendency to call that the Meneely approach, if you will, right? Meneely was apparently famous for that at the time. Meneely was Stan's go-to guy before Jack Kirby basically came on the scene. He could pump it out like you couldn't believe. And apparently Romita was impressed by that. Shortly before Meneely died and Romita came to work under Stan, and Stan said, spend some time with Joe and he'll show you some things. And I guess he did. And Romita was saying that his style was that he'd do an overall ink line fine job and then go in with the darker stuff, right? His technique was to, when it came to backgrounds and stuff, to keep the backgrounds fine line and soft, and then your more distinct stuff up front, go heavy with it. It would really make things pop. That was his technique. Anyway, that was stage one, to put the Meneely line work in, I guess you could call it that. And then here, with the rest of my blacks, was you know, this is my original, that's the original inked drawing. Oh, that's the thing about the digital age, folks. You know, good luck with that original art thing going on. Yeah, yeah. And remember, folks, nothing's going to beat painting, okay? Nothing's going to beat paintings. It's always going to be, you know, original canvas. Anyway, I don't... okay, never mind. Back up. Stop that. This isn't about that. But anyway, there's the original ink for the thing there. And I also, yeah, made a photocopy of it and took that photocopy and applied some color to it, right? And just applied some dollar store markers kind of things, right? Right to the pic itself. Oh shit, did I? Okay, hold on. Whoops. Yeah. There's our boy the thing, yeah. With, yeah, just storing. Yeah, that actually, those colors came up really well. And I used a two-tone value in the thing to get some highlights. I was experimenting. Just fun, you know? And the one approach I've taken on as of late, I'm finding that I learned something about coloring with markers onto comic book art. You're better off when you have your photocopy of your black inks and stuff to just completely go over the blacks that exist, because sometimes the blacks will come up in your photocopies kind of a gray tinge and you don't really want that. But anyway, there's Mr. Ben Grimm, clobbering time and all that. Yeah, a lot of fun. Inking over Big John. As I said, it would be a short one. Here's some other stuff that's just kind of like in progress. Oh, well, here you see, here's a photocopy of the pencil or the graphite work, right, by Big John of Dr. Doom, right? Yeah, you can make that out a bit. I hope that's not too bright. I'm going to bring down the brightness a bit and see if we can work with this here. Sorry about my shadow there, folks. Let's try this. Bring that down a bit. Yeah, I guess so. Hold on. Give it a light over a bit. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a comic book artist, not a movie maker, obviously. But anyway, there's the pencil sketch, right? And if you look closely, you can see where I put in the correction fluid around any unnecessary lines, things that I wanted to blot out from the page, that page, like the page number and any write-up and the other remnants of another figure off to the side, right? And then I take a copy just like this and, you know, start in applying the inks. And, you know, there's the, you know, there's Dr. Doom in progress there. Most of the line work's done, but I'm not quite happy enough with it. I want to apply some more work to it. It's got a dull sense to it, and hopefully if it comes out right, I'll apply some colors. And yeah, taking the, let's see, here's one in progress too. It's a good one. I remember this actual copy of Nova from back in the day with Spidey in the foreground there. It's from cover work. So I took those pencils and started inking over. This one's still in progress too. A lot of the embellishment is still to be rendered there as well. And I want to go in there with my brush and get those harder outlines put in stuff. So again, just in progress, not a complete work to show you right now. And let's see. And again, here's the example from that page in chapter 5 of the book, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. We have our boy Thor here. Got a thunder there, holding up the hammer. Thunder and lightning in the background. Very dramatic. pretty tight pencils, but I thought I'd go in and do this one again. So this is a photocopy, so I take another photocopy, and as you can see, it's been manili'd out again, and I just started putting in the heavy blacks in there. Still got to get the background and the rock that he's standing on, his boots, etc. and that. Again, in progress, having a ball inking over the late, great John Buscema. Who wouldn't want to do that? You know, it doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, that's in progress. And speaking of inking, here's a picture I did, back in the day. What do we got here? We're talking 1989. So photocopy of the pencil sketch blown up that I did, I don't know, a few months ago, something like that. And I remember this picture, actually. As a matter of fact, it was a picture ripped from, I had, freehand drawn. But it was a referenced work from the Marvel Universe. I remember that. But I decided, hey, you know what? Why don't you apply some inks? So I started doing that too, right? Applying inks to that, to my own pencil work, right? To get in that sort of thing, right? And I did it this way instead of inking the original drawing, which I still have in the graphite. Kind of weird. Isn't that strange, right? Trying to preserve graphite drawings. Oh no, don't actually ink over them. What's with that? I don't know. Figure that one out.